Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing, Inc.
St. Lucian professor wins a legal battle to vote in Barbados' upcoming elections. That's our top story in Caribbean Newsline for Monday, May 14. From the CMC News Center in Bridgetown, I'm Nicole Best. Good evening. St. Lucian-born academic Professor Eddie Ventos is now registered to vote in the May 24th general elections in Barbados. At an unprecedented Sunday sitting of the Caribbean Court of Justice, the CCJ, it was ruled that the UWI professor has satisfied the necessary legal and regulatory conditions for registration as an elector and should be registered to vote post-haste. In delivering the ruling of the five-member panel of judges, CCJ President Chief Justice Dennis Byron ordered Electoral Officer Angela Taylor to have Ventos registered by midday on Monday, failing which she would be deemed in contempt of court and could be jailed.
The court is satisfied that on the basis of judicial findings pronounced in this matter, which have not been appealed, the appellant has satisfied the necessary legal and regulatory conditions for registration as an elector. Mrs. Angela Taylor, the Chief Electoral Officer, shall register or cause the appellant to be registered as an elector before 12 noon on Monday, the 14th day of May, 2018. And if you, the within named Angela Taylor, Chief Electoral Officer, do not comply with this order, you may be held to be in contempt of court, and you may be imprisoned and or fined.
Ventos, who had been living in Barbados for several years, has sought to be included on the electoral register, insisting that under the existing laws he was qualified and entitled to do so. The Court of Appeal in Barbados last week ruled that he was so entitled, but it stopped short of compelling the Chief Electoral Officer to put him on the list. Instead, it ordered her to determine Professor Ventos' claim within 24 hours. Well, speaking with CMC News after his registration was completed on Monday, Professor Ventos declined to give details on the case, preferring to wait on the CCJ's delivery of the reasons for its decision, which is expected later this week.
I don't want to preempt the written reasons to be provided by the CCJ later this week. However, the decision of the CCJ on Sunday confirms our long-held view that persons who qualify under Section 7 of the Representation of the People Act, Cap 12 of the Laws of Barbados, are entitled as of right to be registered as electors in Barbados. I would like to thank my excellent legal team, comprising Elliot B. Motley, Queen's Counsel, Leslie Haynes, Queen's Counsel, and Faith Minister for the consistent efforts that have paid off.
Staying in Barbados, Prime Minister Frondell Stewart is calling on leaders of the Barbados Labour Party, Mia Mottley, to publicly account for over $87 million in tax waivers allegedly granted to her father, Elliot Mottley, under a previous BLP administration. Stewart raised the issue as he addressed supporters at an election campaign rally on Sunday night. But he hastened to add that while the waivers were alleged to have occurred during Prime Minister Owen Arthur's stewardship, he was not party to it. Meanwhile, Arthur has warned Barbadians to be prepared for stringent economic policies, regardless of which political party emerges victorious in next week's general election. He told a press conference on Monday that the winning party would have to implement measures to stimulate and turn around the ailing economy. Arthur, the island's longest-serving prime minister, pointed to the latest central bank report, which showed that the economy had performed very poorly in the first 3 months of the year. And he said that was worrying, as that is usually the best period of the year for Barbados as far as raising government revenue is concerned. Arthur says the next government will be assuming responsibility for the economy at the time that it traditionally is the worst for earning foreign exchange and for government expenditures and revenue. And he said the next administration should therefore concern itself with just stabilizing the economy and ensuring that it does not go under. Over in St. Kitts and Nevis, the opposition is calling on Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris to resign immediately amid allegations that the Twin Island Federation was among Caribbean countries that received bribes from a British investor. In a televised statement on Sunday night, opposition leader Dr. Denzel Douglas accused the Harris-led administration of receiving expensive gifts and bribes from the billionaire investor Peter Verde and his business partner. Quoting transcripts from a high court in London relating to the bribery investigation, Dr. Douglas said telephone conversations between the billionaire and his partner include references to payments or gifts to government officials.
The transcripts were produced from surveillance recordings made by German police and were handed over to the National Crime Agency, the NCA, in the United Kingdom, who began their own criminal investigation into the allegations of bribery of Dr. Timothy Harris and others. The transcripts produced in the court were of at least 6 intercepted phone calls between Peter Verde and his business partner, made between February of 2016 and November of 2016. These conversations began about exactly 12 months, a mere 12 months after Harris became Prime Minister of our country, St. Kitts and Nevis.
And Dr. Douglas has called on the Prime Minister to answer publicly. But in a statement, the government denied any involvement in the bribery scandal, saying that since Team Unity was elected to office in 2015, the integrity of the office of the Prime Minister has at all times been maintained. The statement claimed that the judgment regarding the British investor referenced a period of time beginning in 2014 and that Prime Minister Harris could not have spoken to what may have occurred prior to assuming office. It said that the Prime Minister has consulted with senior legal counsel in an effort to determine the next steps. But Douglas was adamant at a press conference on Monday that Harris was specifically mentioned in the court documents.
In the judgment delivered on Friday, it was Lord Justice Holroyd of the High Court in London who wrote, and I quote, "There is no doubt that the transcripts include a number of references to the topic of payments of gifts to government officials. Dr. Timothy Harris is mentioned in the transcripts by office and by name, that is to say, Prime Minister of St. Kitts and Nevis, Dr. Timothy Harris. He is mentioned directly. He is mentioned unequivocally. There are no ifs, no buts, no maybes. Dr. Harris, his name was mentioned directly in these transcripts. My fellow citizens, the implications are extraordinarily serious. Lord Justice Holroyd went on in his judgment last Friday to say that there is, and I quote, no reason to doubt. No reason to doubt the accuracy of the intelligence, end of quote.
The Haitian government has condemned an attack by gunmen who fired at the building housing the central office of the Electricity of Haiti over the weekend. The Ministry of Communications said the police and judicial authorities have been asked to investigate the incident and find those involved in what it described as a terrorist act. The government said significant damage had been done to the building at the heart of the capital. The authorities gave no motive for the attack, and they did not say whether anyone had been injured during the incident that occurred over 2 nights. And still to come in Caribbean Newsline, a suggestion that curfews be made part of preparation for the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season in St. Lucia. The details of that story and more after the break. Stay with us.
It starts from sunrise, a city filled with an island vibe, music, people, color, friendship, culture, and the warmest of smiles. Come enjoy the unique costumes, pulsating steel pans, exotic culture, exciting fetes, and unforgettable people. Discover Antigua's Carnival, the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, July 27th to August 8th, because the beach really is just the beginning.
Former St. Lucia Prime Minister Stephenson King says curfews should be considered as part of preparation for the 2018 Atlantic hurricane season. Speaking to a disaster response planning meeting over the weekend, King said he believes St. Lucia must take note of what transpired in Dominica, which was devastated by Hurricane Maria last September. The former leader noted the looting and the breakdown in law and order that took place in the aftermath of that storm, and he says St. Lucia must prepare for that. King suggested that when the country is in a shutdown mode ahead of an approaching storm, there should be a curfew in place. He told the gathering that in his view, Dominica experienced 2 hurricanes, one natural and the other made by those who lacked the consciousness of the preservation of their patriotism and their nationality and were selfish, greedy, destructive, and lawless. He added that unless curfews are in place and people understand that if they venture out, they can be arrested, the environment will be created in which individuals can misbehave and engage in lawlessness. King also suggested that there should be clarification of the term all clear after the passage of a storm. And the St. Vincent and the Grenadines Hotel and Tourism Association is urging the government to delay the implementation of the climate resilience levy that goes into effect on June 1st when the hurricane season begins. Tourism Association President Fitzroy Glasgow has written to the Ralph Gonsalves administration asking for a delay in $3 tax until January 2019, citing the potential negative impact on land-based visitor accommodation. The government says the money generated by the levy would help the country respond respond more swiftly to climate change-related events and their impact on public infrastructure and the natural environment. But in this letter, Glasgow asked the government to reconsider the tax or to delay its implementation. He noted that tourism stakeholders had expressed concern about the implementation of the tax in the middle of the year, adding rooms rates have been published, rooms pre-booked, and new deals negotiated with partners in various marketplaces. The association president added that the imposition of the tax on visitors in land-based accommodations is only likely to result in the destination becoming even more uncompetitive than it already is. Trinidad and Tobago now. The Movement for Social Justice, the MSJ, is calling on Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley to meet with the Venezuelan government to discuss issues affecting both nations. MSJ leader David Abdullah made the call at a press conference over the weekend with union representatives from Venezuela. We get more in this report from Renessa Cutting of TV6 News.
As debate continues on how to treat with the increasing influx of Venezuelan immigrants, MSJ leader David Abdullah is calling on government to go directly to the source.
We are calling on the government of Trinidad and Tobago to have a high-level meeting with the government of Venezuela to discuss the issue of immigration, whether legal or illegal, into Trinidad and Tobago, and also to address the issues of mutual security.
Abdullah says what we have in Trinidad is a migrant worker problem and not a refugee problem. Jacobo Torres de Leon, international coordinator of the CBST union in Venezuela, agreed with Abdullah and praised government's recent expatriation initiative.
Sino que fueron devueltos a donde nunca debieron haber salido.
They were not expelled from Trinidad, but they were returned to a country from which they should not have left.
Abdullah says both government and the unions must develop clear migrant worker policies, as what is taking place currently is modern-day slavery and human trafficking.
And we have to ask the question to Living Waters on all of them who are crying tears about the conditions of Venezuelans, whether or not they're facilitating workers coming into Trinidad and Tobago, migrant workers, and then being sent to employers who are exploiting them terribly.
The Guyana Prison Service says it has joined the Guyana Police Force in launching an investigation into how inmates at the New Amsterdam prison were able to acquire large bottles of liquor and hold a party on Mother's Day. Photographs posted by an inmate on social media on Sunday showed several of the prisoners posing with bottles of Ciroc and Hennessy, along with cranberry juice and energy drinks. The men could also be seen smoking what appeared to be marijuana joints. The photographs were posted on the Facebook page of a prisoner who is on remand for murder. Guyana Prison Service Director Gladwin Samuels told Demerara Waves Online News that there was no direct evidence pointing to any prison officer facilitating the movement of the contraband into the jail. He says a playback of video surveillance recordings showed that a tractor was searched and nothing was found. Samuel says sanctions will be taken against those persons who are found culpable. The latest incident occurred less than 2 weeks after Samuels complained about the ongoing problem of prohibited items being smuggled into the prisons. He warned prison wardens about being part of the smuggling efforts and reminded them of the action that could be taken if they are found to be involved in the illegal act. Popular Jamaican entertainer Capleton was granted bail in the amount of 200,000 Jamaican dollars when he appeared in court on Monday charged with rape. Capleton, whose real name is Clifton Bailey, was arrested on the weekend. He's accused of forcing himself on a hairdresser who went to his hotel to groom his hair, but his attorney Christopher Townsend has been critical of the police in their handling of the matter. He also disclosed that the alleged victim is the subject of investigation following allegations that she tried to extort his client. And ahead in Newsline Sport, Caribbean success at the Shanghai Diamond League. Stay with us. Sport is next.
Follow your heart to the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival from June 27 to July 1st, 2018. featuring Kesteban, Sifa Logi, Small X Band, Nyla Blackman, and Betty Watt. Also, Patti LaBelle, Dijon, New Vibes International, Rhythm of the Beat, and Wayne Wonder. Spice, August Alsina, Aishona, Byron Messiah, Dasha, Shaka Dimas, and Pliers, and Miss Lauren Hill. Save the date and book now for the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
Festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again, festival again. The Caribbean's greatest summer line, yeah, it's country around the time. 44 is the hair, I know you love it here. Troops and festivities, we love the Caribbean. But all night, no time for sleep, emancipate with we.
Reigning Olympic champion Omar McLeod barely held off Spain's Orlando Ortega to win the men's sprint hurdles on a rain-drenched night at the Shanghai Diamond League on Saturday. Running out of lane 5, the Jamaica led from the start and cleared the final hurdle until that's still in front, but was forced into a leaning finish to prevent Ortega from sprinting through in lane 8 to take the win. The result was a world-leading 13.16 seconds, while Ortega was timed at 13.17 seconds. Russian Sergei Shubenkov finished third in 13.27 seconds.
Well, certainly Eric's Merritt going well. And so is McLeod at the moment. Shubenkov coming through strongly at the moment. The rest out of it. McLeod coming through, and on the near side is Ortega. McLeod gets it, Ortega second, and in third place was Shubenkov. Super 13.16. This man is tough to beat.
Meanwhile, Women's Commonwealth Games 200-meter champion Shaunae Miller-Weibo continued her recent domination of the event when she clinched victory in a meet record 22.06 seconds. The Bahamian in lane 7 dismissed the challenge from Dutchwoman Daphne Schippers at the top of the stretch before easily pulling away to take the line uncontested. Schippers edged Jamaican Shericka Jackson for second in 22.34 seconds, while the Rio Olympics bronze medalist was third in 22.36.
Away they go. Good start from Miller-Weibo, a tall, slender figure, and also a very good start from Talu, who's eating into the ground. But as we know, Skippers is very, very good in transitioning off the bend, but going to have some work to do here. Here they come. Also coming through is Shericka Jackson, but Miller-Weibo looking effortless over the 200 metres, getting stronger and stronger and stronger. My word, that was a walk in the park, a stroll in Shanghai for Miller-Weibo, 22.06. She just ambles to a meeting record, and once again, it's the 400-metre specialist who gets the better of Skippers over 200 metres, and that is an accomplished, polished performance by Shaunae Miller-Weibo.
And Stephen Gardner gave the Bahamas even more reason to celebrate when he stormed to his second straight Diamond League victory following his success in the Doha season opener just over a week ago. The 22-year-old ran a brilliantly controlled 400-meter race, dismissing a strong challenge from Botswana's Isaac Makwala about 70 meters from the finish to cross the line in 43.99 seconds and post a new meet record. Makwala was second in 44.23, with Qatar's Abdelia Rouan third in 44.51, and that's Haroun.
Not much in it as they go down into the Makwala, though, has gone off pretty quickly, and Gardner sensed it and is already going past Haroun in the back straight. Gardner, Makwala, these two going very strongly, and Taylor doing very nicely indeed at the moment as they approach 200 metres in the white vest. But here goes Makwala, the Commonwealth champion, and Gardner looks so comfortable to 300 metres. Look at this, absolutely superb. Once again, Makwala trying desperately to stay with Gardner. Look at this. Makwala coming strongly, but Gardner looks strong, doesn't he? Lovely, lovely control in the final stage. Gardner, Makwala in second, and Haroun in third. And that was a new meeting record.
To the racetrack now, reigning world champion Lewis Hamilton stormed to a handsome victory in Sunday's Spanish Grand Prix, leading from pole to dominate at the Circuit de Catalunya. The 33-year-old, who was without a win prior to the last Grand Prix in Baku, took the checkered flag a whooping 20 seconds ahead of teammate Bottas to post a record-breaking 41st win from pole and also open up a 17-point lead in the Drivers' Championship. Starting on pole for the first time since the season opener in Melbourne, Hamilton avoided the melee caused by Haas driver Romain crash on the opening lap to take control of the race. He was helped by a few incidents as Sebastian Vettel of Ferrari struggled for the tyre lift and was forced into a second pit stop, which saw him drop from second to fourth. Vettel's Ferrari teammate was forced to retire with engine failure on lap 24 while in second spot. And that's the sport. Stay with us. We'll be right back.
Caribbean Newsline is brought to you by the Barbados Tourism Marketing Inc.
Follow your heart to the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival from June 27th to July 1st, 2018. Featuring Kester Band, Sifa Malonji, Small Axe Band, Nyla Blackman, and Betty Wack. Also, Patti LaBelle, Dijon, New Vibes International, Rhythm of the Beat, and Wayne Wonder. August Alcina, Aishona, Byron Messiah, Dasha, Shaka Dimas, and Pliers, and Miss Lauren Hill. Save the date and book now for the 22nd Annual St. Kitts Music Festival, an experience like no other.
It starts from sunrise, a city filled with an island vibe, music, people, color, friendship, culture, and the warmest of smiles. Come enjoy the unique costumes, pulsating steel pans, exotic culture, exciting fetes, and unforgettable people. Discover Antigua's Carnival, the Caribbean's greatest summer festival, July 27th to August 8th, because the beach really is just the beginning.
Again, the major developments of this day: St. Lucian-born academic Professor Eddie Ventos now registered to vote in the May 24th general election in Barbados following an order by the Caribbean Court of Justice. And in sport, Jamaican hurdler Omar McLeod and Bahamian Shawnee Miller-Uber and Stephen Gardner taste goal at the Shanghai Diamond League. That's Caribbean Newsline. Thanks for joining us. Do have yourselves a good night.